Geekdom, the Chipmunk doing another reaction. We're doing another reaction from Anime's channel. We are checking out a top 10 for the degenerates. We have a top 10 best borderline ecchi anime ever made. I have a couple in mind that he might end up putting on here, but we'll see. Definitely see. Yeah, if you're a fan of anime, there's probably a couple that you have seen that you can go, you know what, this is definitely borderline here to hold just adult Smentai type of anime. But yeah, let's check out his top 10, his picks. Let's see.
What is the biggest curse? Being bullied? Watching the people closest to you suffer? Maybe it's actually being cursed to watch crap like Domestic Girlfriend. And guess what? Today I've got some stuff that are way worse than that. So without further delay, let's dive on into the top 10 most cursed ecchi anime you could watch. To start off the list today, we have Peter Grill in the Philosopher's Time. Now, why does this one sound a little familiar? Well, because it is. So this anime starts with our protagonist, Peter. Wow.
Peter Grill.
Who would have guessed that one, huh?
I actually like this anime.
The show starts with the main character winning a tournament to become the world's strongest man. You'd think he'd be satisfied with the fame, but his real trouble starts when his title makes him a target for every race of monster girls, looking to breed the ultimate offspring. Yeah, you heard that right. And again, the main character being the noble idiot. Desperate attempts by Peter to remain faithful to his fiancée while fending off a horde of seductive rivals, each more shameless than the last. And if you think he succeeds, well, you're in for a surprise. The plot sounds incredible, and the show knows it, making fun of the main character's half-hearted efforts to be virtuous while everyone around him just sees him as a walking donation bank. If you're into absurdity, this is your type of show. Please give this one a try. And at number 9, we have Val Love. The story follows a shy high schooler with a scary face who is suddenly thrown into the company of 9 Valkyrie sisters, each with their own unique powers. And their mission? The usual defeat evil, save the world crap, but there's a catch. Their powers are directly linked to how much affection they receive from the main character. That's right. There's the clincher. The closer they get, through hugs, kisses, and other means, the stronger they become. So I guess having a training arc where the characters strive to become stronger is all just some old-fashioned crap. The new is in. The premise sets up the perfect excuse for the series to pinch its nose and take a deep dive into the pool of etchiness. But while the plot is basically there to set up the ecchi, there's still some entertainment value in watching the main character try to navigate his interactions with the girls, who have no problem using their charm to tease and fluster him. And he's really living our best life, isn't he? It's a show that doesn't shy away from its fan service, leaning fully into the absurdity of its setup. If you aren't expecting much more than some shamelessly down bad moments, Val Love might just deliver the kind of over-the-top guilty pleasure that you're looking for. Next up at number 8, we got World's End Harem.
I still haven't watched that yet.
World's End Harem answers the question
I've read the manga.
What if the apocalypse was really set in a world where a virus wipes out 99.9% of the male population, leaving behind a few lucky bastards? The show follows this setup. But the situation is not exactly lucky, though. The main character is given a mission. And that's, well, to repopulate the world, of course.
With great power comes great responsibility.
And it's by, well, doing the exact thing you're thinking of, with as many women as possible. So, maybe he's not so lucky, or he's lucky beyond that. But this noble fool decides to stay loyal to his pre-apocalypse crush.
Yep.
A crush. While the world around him is practically begging him to sow his oats.
Yep.
And while the World's End Harem has a setup that's quite literally
well,
on the borderline of being called an adult anime,
I haven't watched the anime.
It also tries to mix in some sci-fi elements about the virus and conspiracies. Though they're usually just an excuse to introduce more fan service, this is not the anime for deep philosophical discussions. It's more about what if society was structured around desperate women seducing a guy who's clearly in denial. It's ridiculous. It's shameless. And at times, quite unintentionally hilarious. In short, this show tries to dress up its fan service heavy plot with a sci-fi coat. But really, it's just a what would you do scenario for those who imagine being humanity's last hope.
What would you do?
Let's be real,
Get up,
we all know what you would do. And it would be all in the least heroic way possible. And if you're here for the story, by the way, you seriously need to rethink your life. Then at number 7, we have the infamous Yosuga no Sora.
Another one.
Oh yes, a classic indeed. A classic anime that starts off as a standard slice of life anime but quickly turns into controversy and takes a full-on dive into some incredibly provocative territory. The plot follows the main character and his twin sister who moved to a rural town after the death of their parents. On the surface, it's about reconnecting with old friends and making new ones.
Okay.
But beneath that, there's a purely evil web of relationships that escalate into some truly taboo areas.
Oh my.
And the show doesn't shy away from it either. The show explores complex themes and at times quite some unsettling dynamics. While the anime dives into romance, it's not the lighthearted type you'd expect. Instead, it turns to some pretty dark and risky territory. And as a result, this show turned into one of the most infamous reputations in anime. If School Days made your jaw drop for its wild plot twist, Yosuga no Sora is gonna take it to a whole new level. It's not just ecchi, it's more like walking a fine line between what's acceptable and what's downright taboo. But still, somehow, I still don't get how, this show is one of the more entertaining watches I had in the genre. Then at number 6, we got Makin-ki.
Yay!
Now, this is a prime example of what happens when you mix high school superpowers and a whole bunch of shameless fan service. This story follows the typical pervy protagonist who enrolls in an academy purely because it has gals. Little does he know, it's not just any high school. Students here possess Makin, magical items that give them special abilities, used for dueling over, well, pretty much anything. Think of it as a battle royale where instead of glory, most of the combatants are fighting over who has to do the laundry. The plot is just like my morality whenever I see Makima. It's absent. Anyways, much of the runtime is devoted to girls with gravity-defying assets and outrageous flashes that pop up out of the most random moments. The series tries to mix in some action, but the fight scenes often take a backseat to the main character's unending pursuit of
Sadly enough, I wish they would push
they awkwardly jam in fan service right when things get serious.
But
Makin-ki feels like it knows exactly what it is. An ecchi extravaganza that doesn't try too hard to hide behind.
About all that.
It's filled with flashy battles, cute girls, and an overabundance of fan service, making it an ecchi lover's guilty pleasure. So, if you're one of them, be sure to watch this one. Next up at number 5, we have Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Gentlemen, we gather here today yet again. Here we have a guy who starts playing an online game only to find himself transported to a fantasy world. But instead of going on noble quests or fighting dragons, the world's real goal is... Still haven't guessed it yet? Well, I'm disappointed. It's to assemble a harem of enslaved waifus and enjoy life. Of course it was. Armed with his overpowered abilities, the main character spends his time buying slave girls who are, of course, bizarrely into him. The anime could have exploited the RPG mechanics or fantasy lore, but the makers decided to dive into fan service as if it was the only genre available. They literally gave the main character everything a man could dream of, especially at night. So if you're here for an epic isekai journey, move along, keep walking. This one's definitely not for you. But if you want an unhinged amount of down bad adventures, well, welcome to the labyrinth, my friend. And at number 4, we have The Testament of Sister New Devil. This is what happens when you take the harem genre, sprinkle in some fantasy, and then sink it in a whole tsunami of...
This is another one I haven't watched.
I mean, there's really not much else to it. I mean, the story centers on a dude who suddenly gains 2 stepsisters after his father remarries. Sounds pretty innocent enough, right? Well, pause the video here real quick and read that title again. Because I think you're in the wrong place here now, little Timmy. So it turns out these sisters are no ordinary girls. One is a future demon lord, and the other is a succubus. And somehow, just somehow, this tool forms a master-servant contract with a future demon lord. And he is not the servant. Now, this contract was supposed to offer protection, but instead, yeah, you guessed it. This turns into the root cause of all the you-know-what stuff. The show throws the main character into a whirlpool of demon politics, heroic clashes, and magical battles. But who would have guessed the real focus of the show was on creating as many awkward, blush-inducing situations as possible. Such an unexpected twist. This put shows like Attack on Titan and Bleach to shame. Talking about Bleach,
What?
this new season was freaking amazing. Sorry, off topic. Anyway, the show knows exactly what it's doing. It's basically High School DxD, but with the awkwardness turned up to 11.
Yeah, I was
And
about
the
to
adult
say, it kind of
stuff,
reminded me.
well, that's actually
of High
turned a little
School
bit down.
DxD a bit.
It's wild, it's over
Probably
the top,
just a look and
it's definitely not for the
animation.
faint of heart. But a guaranteed hit for anyone wanting to end their thirst for horniness. Then next up at the third spot, we have Kiss Sis.
Oh gosh.
Yes.
Oh,
Another
gosh.
classic. There is no freaking way that this is your first time hearing about this anime either. So
No.
if Yosuga no Sora was taboo, this show just makes fun of it. This is a series that runs on pure, unfiltered etchiness. Always. Following the life of a high school student with two overly affectionate stepsisters, the plot is basically about these sisters doing everything they can to win the main character's affection. And when I'm talking about affection, I definitely don't mean the brotherly one. It's in the ways that
Oh gosh.
go way beyond.
Oh my gosh.
From surprise cases to awkward misunderstandings, it's a non-stop barrage of moments even you would take a minute to comprehend. You're going to be pausing the video a lot. But let's be honest here. Though no one's watching this show for its deep story or character development, it's
No.
all about seeing just how far they can push the ecchi while still calling it a romantic comedy.
Right?
I mean, seriously, it's in the text. The whole series literally survives on over-the-top humor and situations that feel more like a parody of harem tropes than anything serious. You've got
Yeah.
the classic scenarios: bathroom accident, whoopsies, accidental kisses, oh, blush, and embarrassing counters. Oh, what? What are you doing here? I mean, it's insane that they decided not to straight up just insert the laundry machine where the stepsister, is stuck in the laundry machine and is going, "Step bro, what are you doing?"
Hold your horses!
You know what? Maybe that's a little much. But anywho, this may have you cringing, or maybe it'll make you laugh out loud. Who knows? The point is, if you
Yeah,
want to
it
feel
was
like a
funny.
degenerate, watch this one. And after that, at the runners-up spot, we have Interspecies Reviewers.
Some I haven't watched, but we all know what
Interspecies
the heck
Reviewers.
is.
This is what happens when you combine my anime list in a fantasy world full of bizarre brothels. The show doesn't just hint at its intentions, it puts them on full display. Our protagonists, I'm not going to say that name, aren't here to save kingdoms or defeat evil lords. Nope, they are on a mission to review the services of adult establishments.
Yep.
All run by various species, from succubi to elves, fairies, and even slimes. They test them all. They test all of them and provide detailed ratings.
They
So
be
95
testing,
workers, here's
man.
another
They
reason to
be
cry.
testing.
But what's wild is how seriously it takes the reviews. You'll hear actual debates about the merits of different species and, well, their capabilities. Yep, that's probably the best word for it. And fun fact, this show caused a huge amount of controversy because, I mean, you don't see anime getting this graphic that often. I mean,
Right?
this was insane. Leading to its removal from multiple streaming platforms, but for those who stayed, it's a roller coaster of pure,
those who
unfiltered
stayed.
absurdity that does not apologize for its outrageous premise. But at the top spot,
Prison
we
School.
have none other than Prison School.
Yeah, baby.
Now, think of a strict disciplinary
Oh, baby.
school, and let me tell you,
Oh,
can you
baby.
think of a single idea of how you can turn that into an ecchi anime? Well, the makers of this show somehow found that answer. The premise is as absurd as it is brilliant. An all-girls academy has just started accepting male students, but out of the thousands of girls, only
whip ya.
5
Whip ya good.
unfortunate, or fortunate, depending on how you look at it, souls enroll. Immediately, these boys are caught trying to peep into the girls' bathroom, and as punishment, they're thrown into a makeshift prison on campus under the watchful eye of the Underground Student Council. And yes, it's as ridiculous as it sounds.
Yep.
In fact, I'd say it's even more than that. And before anything else, I need to talk about the character designs, because what the hell is this? What did the animators smoke? The humor in the show
lot
is
of that
great,
good.
only if you can tolerate extremely dark
Let's
jokes and
smoke a lot
over-the-top
of
absurd situations. And the fan service.
Smoke whatever
I
TLP
can't
would smoke.
believe I'm saying this, but it's still surprisingly well written. The show manages to weave its absurd humor with plot twists and a bizarrely intense atmosphere. The etchiness just adds to the plot. You'll find yourself both rooting for the boys to escape and secretly hoping they get caught, just to see what crazy punishment you'll witness next. This is basically the gold mine for ecchi lovers. So, if you have not seen Prison School ever, this is your next watch. Guaranteed. Well, that's the list for today,
Should
guys.
be. I kind of figured Prison School would be in there. Kind of figured that, but I thought it would be higher on the list though. The Peter Grill, I thought his would have been higher a bit. But it's a lot of these I haven't seen before. Some I know of, like the Worlds in Harem. That one I knew of because I have the manga. I was like, I'm definitely knew of the anime and it had came out. But yeah, it's a couple of these I've never heard of. Some I've never seen. Yeah, I'm not surprised by some of the ones that's on the list, like Kiss Sis. Yeah, I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. I would have thought Prison School would have been lower on the list. I was like, it has a lot of just craziness to it, but I didn't think it was like the most like explicit when it came to their stuff. It wasn't like the most crazy explicit. It's definitely like, you know, you got a lot of it, but it wasn't like as explicit. But yeah, but y'all let me know what y'all think about this list. What animes you would have thought would have made it on there? Which ones do you think would have been top? How y'all feel about it? Let me know. Let us all know down in the comments below. Again, check out Adam's channel. He is very hilarious, very fun person to check out. If y'all like this video, please put a like on the video. If you'd like to subscribe to see some more of my reactions and other type of videos, please do. Thank you all so much for jumping on and giving me a try. I really do appreciate it. Please do take care of yourselves and others. Peace, geekdom.